Very good morning, guys. Fine. So last day, we have been completed discussing about the file upload control, right? So file upload control basically we use it for uploading the files. The next control what we are going to learn today is about the calendar. Calendar generally, if at all you are going for booking a ticket anywhere, you require to select the date now. And if you want to select a date, you require a calendar control. So we just been provided with a calendar control here for consuming it in our application. We'll see today how to work with the calendar control. Yeah, calendar. So, look, guys. Let me add a web form. We'll name it as calendardemo.aspx. Yeah. So what I want here is I want to provide a provision for the user to select a date. Select a date. Okay, I'm typing select date. And to select a date, I want to give a text box. So the text box should get the date selected. Okay, let me add a text box now. ASP colon text box ID is equals to txt date run it equal to server. Run it equal to server. I have a text box. Now, beside this text box, I need the calendar now. Beside the text box, I need the calendar. But just notice anytime you use this calendar regularly in different places in your application, calendar won't be shown by default here. You click on some button, calendar will open. Yes or not? You click on some button, calendar will open. Once you click on a button, a calendar will be open for you here. Understood all of you? Okay, the same thing here, remember. I require something and I will click on it, the calendar has to launch now. What do you need? Something like an image? Use the image button. Use the image button. So watch. ASP colon image button. IMG ID is equals to IMG date. Run it equal to server. Remember, by default, image button doesn't have any image to show. We need to bind the image by using an image URL property. Look, there is no image to show here. So I need to have a image URL property. So we need a small icon that can be used here. We need an icon that can be used here as a icon image for this particular button. Not like a big image here. I want a small image. So when I click on that, the calendar has to launch. Yes, here I have a button, but there is no image here. So let me give an image for this now. How to give? To give an image, as said, you require to use the image URL property. Image URL is equals to, you require to give some button here. Oh, sorry, some image here. I'll do one thing. What is it? In our project, I'm adding a folder here. We'll name the folder as icons. And we have images folder here. Basically, we use it for large images. I'm using an icons folder for a small image. So right click, add. What is shown here? Existing item. In the existing item, on my computer, E drive. I have images folder. And in this images folder, I have a calendar icon. I want to use this I want to use this. So added it, guys. Calendar.ico. Where is it? Icons folder. So let me set up the path. Image URL is equals to how to write a schedule. Tilde slash what is the folder? Icons slash calendar.ico. Calendar.ico. Okay, so that's what. But generally, guys, because I have a bigger screen resolution, I used like a 200% resolution here. Image is looking very big. Icon is looking very big. So let's set the width and height. Width is equals to 20. Height is equals to 20 pixels. Got it? Image is looking a bit up. Alignment is not looking good. It's not correctly coming. Okay, no problem. Image align is equals to absolute middle. Image align is equals to absolute middle. Got it? So they're perfectly aligned now. What should happen? Click on this should launch the calendar now. On a click of this, a calendar should launch now. Okay, now let's add a calendar. So what would you place to us? A text box and a button, that's all here. But what button? Image button is what I used. Next, a calendar. ASP colon calendar. ID is equals to CLD date. Run it equal to server. Tell me, calendar should be visible by default, or on the click of the button? On the click of the button, calendar should not be visible by default now. Visible is equals to false. If I don't say visible false by default, calendar will be shown on the screen now. And I don't want the calendar to be shown by default. See now, I use the calendar, but it's not visible to you. Are you clear? So when the calendar should come, when I click on this particular button, okay? So let me go to the click of the button and write down the logic. What if CLD date dot visible, if it is visible, what do you do? Else, first click should show it here, second click should close it now. First click visible, second click invisible. Show, close. That's what exactly you're just required to do. Are you clear? And here I'm writing, if not, is post back txt date dot focus. Run. Remove your chairs. Remove your backs on the chairs. All of you, remove the backs on the chairs. Let others to sit there here. See there. Second click. Clearer. Now I selected date now. I selected date here. When I selected date here, the date should automatically come in my text box. The date should automatically come in my text box. Select the date and the date should be shown in the text box control. Is it clear, all of you? That's what my next requirement is. The date selected should come in the text box control. Okay. How to do that? If that is the case, you're required to write under the code under the default event of the calendar. The default event of the calendar. What is that, you know? Selection changed. It is selection changed. You need to write the code here. What is the code? txt date dot text is equals to cld date dot selected date. It will bring you the selected date now. What it brings is the selected date. The selected date will come into the text box. But actually this contains a date, time, all the appropriate values. What I want is only date. So dot short dates. And once the date selected and the date comes into the text box, calendar should close again now. Yes or not? So once the date comes into the text box, the next minute the calendar should have to close. Now what do you do? CLD date dot visible is equals to false. Close the calendar control. That's it. Yeah, watch it. Click on this. Calendar launched. Okay, now click on this. Calendar launched. And once you selected date, closed. Date came there and the calendar got closed. Are you guys clearer? Okay. Now listen. Yeah, this is our calendar. Let's try to understand about how to customize it now. How to customize it. Actually, the calendar control is associated with a set of properties and events using which we can do for customizing. Okay, first property. Just now we used it. Right, just now we used the selected date property to get the selected date now. So when I call the selected date, I'm sorry. When I call the selected date, it returned me the date selected. Okay, next one. Alright, tomorrow if you have multi-selection, then we use the selected dates. What do you get? A list of selected dates now. What do you get? A list of selected dates. Say, watch. CLD date dot selected date. What is the return type? Date time. It returns you the date time. Selected dates. Collection man, a list. What it gives you? A list, a collection of selected dates, multiple dates. When do I use it? When I select multiple dates tomorrow, you're just going to go for a travel or booking a hotel. When you book a hotel, you enter the start date and ending date, and you're required to go for finding up all the dates now. So there are the selected dates. Okay. Next, caption. What is caption? I can give a caption to my calendar now. I can give a caption to a calendar. Okay, see, basically, you noticed one thing, it's a table. It renders a table here. It is rendering a table. It is going to render a table. I said you how to see, right click, view page source, and you go there and you will see the render table there. Table. Yeah, see how much code it is writing. Why is there array? When you select a date, that it should be work like a click now. So that hyperlink. All hyperlinks here. Hyperlinks now. And when you click on it, they're submitting the page to server, and the date selected is coming into this. You notice one thing? Calendar control is capable of submitting the page. Calendar control is capable of submitting the page. See, when I select it, the page is getting submitted to server. Notice? You can notice here. See that. Understood? So it is submitting. Means what? Hyperlink. I said you only 3 can submit the page to server. 1 or 3. Button, image button, and hyperlink. You array till yesterday you used the buttons only. Today we use the image button there. That is also submitting. Third one, hyperlink. They're all hyperlinks. It renders a table and you'll get. Now, for a table, you can give a caption. For a table, you can give a caption. That is only the caption. The caption property here is. So if at all you set a caption now, come to design view, go to properties and pick the caption property. Pick a date, something. Coming here, see. You can see that. Pick a date. You can see that particular caption there. Okay. Sorry, clear with 1, 2, 3. Selected date. Selected dates, caption. Next. Day name format. What is the day name format? Are you seeing the dates, the first 3 characters of the day? Array, the first 3 characters of the day. But tomorrow, sometimes you may want to show only 1 character. Sometimes there's a calendar showing only one character only. Yes or not? Otherwise, 2 characters. Otherwise, 3 characters. Otherwise, full name. Full name, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like this. It's your option. And to do that, you're required to set the property as, what is the default value? Short means the first three. Full. Check. Next, first letter. Shortest. Two and shortest are same here. I don't know why they're given the two options like this, but the first two letters and shortest both are same only. Are you clear? Short name is 3. First letter, shortest. These four are same. You can choose your option. I want to go with shortest. Okay, 2 will come. Okay now? Next. First day of the week. First day of the week. Look guys, what is the first day of the week? I want Monday as the first day of the week. Are you clear or not? In Arab countries, the week starts with Saturday. Thursday, Friday is holiday for them. And Saturday is the week starting for them. Are you clear? Generally, Monday. Business weeks. Let us talk about the business week. The business week starts from Monday. In Arab country, the business week starts on Saturday. So tomorrow we can customize it. Which day you want? Default is Sunday. No, sir, I want Monday. I can change. What? Giving you all the options. Pick Monday and watch. Monday is just taken as the first day of the week now. Is that clear, guys? Okay. So that is first day of the week. Next previous format. What is next previous format? Guys, yeah, we are able to navigate to next and previous now. Are you navigating to the next? Less than symbol, greater than symbol. Less than is for previous, greater than is for. Can you show me like, I'm confused with it. Can you show me like prevent next? Or I want to say prevent next. Or otherwise, I want to see April, June. Did you understand? May. Previous month is April. Next month is June. I want to see something like this. You can customize. How? Watch it. Next previous format. Next previous format. What is the current value? Custom text. But see here we have options. Short month. What is short month? Clearer? Same way you can give full month. No, sir, not this. I want previous and next. Then go for custom text. Current custom text is, watch it all of you. What is it? Greater than, less than. You learned this in HTML. What do you call it? Entity. What is it? Entity. We call them as entities. Okay. So entity starts with ampersand and semicolon. Something which cannot be represented as a tags. We use entities now. Not tag also. What is it? Element. We use a tag. H1 tag, not tag here. What is the correct terminology? Element, entity. Element means enclosed in the angular braces. Entity means between ampersand and semicolon. That's called entity. This is an entity. Right now, for next it is doing a greater than sign now. No, I don't want this. I want next. For previous, it is giving a less than sign now. I want prev. Watch. Custom text. Is that clearer? Okay. Next. Selection mode. Selection mode. What is this selection mode? Guys, right now you're selecting now. What can you select? I can select only a day. Notice it all of you. I can select only a day. Okay, save it, refresh it. Yeah, just reflecting the changes, that's all. Watch. I can select only a day, but I want to select the whole week. I want to select the whole week. Or I want to select the whole month. So I want the option for that now. So right now the provision is given only for a day. Okay, you can change that. How? None. You can see the calendar, but you cannot select. See that underlines below the numbers are deleted? Means they are no more hyperlinks now. They are no more hyperlinks now. Okay. When I say day, here we cannot see that. Huh? Okay. Anyhow, on the screen we can see that they are hyperlinks. But it changed to none. They will not be hyperlinks anymore. Okay. Well, next I'm saying day week. When I say day week, notice it. You click on this, the complete week is selected. Next option, day, week, month. Notice double & sign came on the top now. When you click on this, the whole month is selected. Watch. See, I'll click on this. We written the code for closing now, but open it. See, selected. See, the complete week is selected. Click on this. The complete month is selected. Are you clear? So no selection, day selection, day week selection, day week month selection. And also, when you're giving that week and month selection, we are getting greater than, double greater than signs. Now you can customize it. You can customize that one now. How to customize? Watch all of you. See, what is it showing you? Selected month text is, but I want to change it as a month. Selected week text is, I want to change it as week. The text changed. Everything is customizable according to your requirements. Yeah, we just require to go through the properties and just to see what property matches to our requirement. Are you clear? 7 properties I said you till now. What is the first one? For picking the date selected dates for multi-selection. See now week selection is, I want to get the whole week dates now. Caption, a caption for the table. Next, the day name format, you want to see the complete name or a single character or 2 characters or 3 characters. Next, the week should start with Monday or Sunday or whatever it is. Next, what do you want to see in the next and previous? You want to see next to previous buttons, you want to see months or your own custom text. Next, selection mode that tells you whether you want to go for a day selection, week selection, day selection, day week selection, day week month selection, no selection. They are properties here. Next 3 are events. First event. We already used that event now. When we selected, the date came there now. When we selected, the date came there, selection changed. That is an event. And 5 when a date selection is changed. And this is a default event of the calendar. This is a default event of the calendar. Are you clear? Next one, day render. What is the day render? The day render event fires once per, the day render event fires once per each date that is rendered by the calendar. I repeat, just a minute. Yeah, I set everything normal. Watch it. The day render event fires for every date that is rendered by the calendar. Did you understand me? Rendering, you know, every date rendered by the calendar, this event will fire once now. This event will fire 42 times. Once the calendar opens, the event will fire 42 times. Can you tell me why? 42 dates are visible to you on the day calendar. See, Are you clear? 7 into 642 means every time the date value rendered, event will fire. What is the use of it here? What is the use of that event is, suppose while opening it, each date, I want to give a different color for it now. I want to make it colorful. Yeah, every date should come in randomly a new color now. Are you getting my point or not? Then we can use that event. Then you can use that event. So what will happen when the calendar is rendered? Event will fire for 42 times. So inside of it right now, for every day, set one color. You can set one color randomly. Are you getting me? In such type of scenarios, we use this event. What is that? Day render. Next one. That is also event only. When will this event fire? This event will fire when we click on the next and previous. This event will fire when we click on the next and previous. Okay. How can I use it, sir? See, tomorrow, you don't want to go beyond December. You don't want to go beyond December of the current year. November. I came to December. When I came to December, I don't want to see the next year now. I don't understand your faces here. Every time you put your face like just you lost your wallet yesterday, you lost all the money and sad faces. I don't know why. Every time I see your face like that only. No activeness at all. Your 20s only. You behave like I'm 40s and you're 20s and you're behaving like you're 40s. I'm shouting, I'm active. And you have lazy faces. Looking at your faces, I'm getting drowsiness now. Very active, yeah. You're learning something. You should have that. I need to find some enthusiasm in your face. You're putting why am I leading this life? You're putting your face. So tomorrow you're a developer, man. Enjoy the subject first. Then only you can become a developer. I'm telling something, you say lazy faces. Are you clear? So the event will fire when we click on the next and previous button. See, I reached the December month. I reached the December month. I don't want to see the next anymore now. I need to write the code in that event now. I need to write the code in that particular event. Same way, I'll go to previous like this. I don't want to go to the previous month of the current month. Today is May now. Don't take me to April over now. I don't want to go previous. So if that is the case, you're required to write the logic under visible month changed. Selection changed event will fire when you selected date. Day render event will fire for 42 times once the calendar is rendered. And visible month changed event will fire when we click on the next and previous. When we click on the next and previous buttons. That's how the events are going to fire for you in this context. That's all about this, the various things. Okay. So I given an idea how to use a calendar, but going forward in our examples, I will show using calendar control, selecting dates in different scenarios. Is that clearer? Okay. So we'll do that. But first you understood the calendar now. But see guys, when I click on this one, calendar is opening. When I click on this, calendar is closing. But the page submission is happening here. It doesn't look good. See, in the real-time environment, if calendar opens. Understood me? Or a day, it should not go for submitting the page. It should not go for submitting the page. Not only that one. When I selected date also, submitting the page. I want to avoid it. Use Ajax. Come on. Step manager, update panel, content template. Same way in the bottom. By content template, by update panel. Watch. Can you see the experience now? Your clients are experience now. There is no page submission. Notice that use Ajax so that it doesn't look like submitting the page to a server. So you can watch it. First, I explained about all the 10 properties. And then here, I use the calendar. Text box, image button. See image button, IMG date, run at server. Add an icons folder, download some calendar icon online here and use it. ICOR, JPGI, anything you like, no problem. Just put your name, my name, type it there. And I said you this one aligns to the text box. Next. Width and height. And it is a calendar. Visible false. By default, it is visible. By default, the calendar will be shown. No, wrong. When you click on it, only calendar should come. First, load event. Set the focus into the date. Next. Visible, invisible, invisible, visible. Next. The selection date value should come to the text box. Are you clear? Well, next, today we'll learn about this particular thing called as config files, man. Config files. What are these config files? Listen. Actually, every application, not only here, even you open a desktop application, console application also will have these config files. What exactly are the config files means? Tomorrow, on my web page here, on the top of the web page, I'm showing the company name. This was the company name. I added a label. I used a H1 element and I'm writing some style and I'm showing my company name on the top of the page. And in the next line, I'm showing the address. In the third line, I'm showing a contact numbers. Clear? I'm designing all these things now. After designing all these particular things, my page is ready. Everything is fine. Tomorrow, I have done this design in 10 or 20 pages of my site now. Suppose my site has 100 pages now. In all the 100 pages, I've done this design now. In all the 100 pages, I've done the design. Now, application is live in production. Application is live in production. When application is live in production now, tomorrow for some reason, the company's address got changed. The company shifted from one place to another place, the address got changed. Now tell me, do I need to update the address in the site or not? After some days, their contact numbers got changed. After some days, this company was acquired by some other company and the company name only changed. Chances are there now. Now tell me, whenever there is a change, as a developer, what is your headache, Whenever there is a change, the client will ask the developer to change it. You are required to make the modification in all the pages. You are required to make the modification in all the pages and host the site again now. Are you clear? And what changes the client is asking? Logical changes. Not logical changes, asking you to change the phone number here, asking to change the email ID. Yeah, some point of time you'll get a doubt. What doubt, Am I a data entry operator or developer? You're doing the job of a data entry operator. Yes or not? And always making these changes is a big problem here. 100 pages are there everywhere. I should change it now. By mistake, I forgot one page. That will show wrong values. Correct? To manage these type of things in the real-time environment, we'll be having these files in a project called as a configuration files. What is it? Configuration files. These configuration files are XML files in .NET Framework and JSON files in .NET Core. Already I said the relation between XML and JSON. Earlier we have XML will repost with JSON. So remember, these configuration files in your ASP.NET in your .NET Framework are XML. These configuration files in your .NET Core are JSON. They are going to be JSON files. Okay, you're working with .NET Framework only now. Guys, when you're learning your MVC, when you learn MVC, there you will learn MVC Core. In the MVC Core, you will be coming across the config files there, but all the files will be .json files. But here there will be XML files. Observe it. You find this file in the project with the name called as web.config. What is the name? Web.config. Open the web.config and This is the file XML. Under this, I said you already yesterday, remember, an XML file can have one root element only. And see your root element. Configuration is a root element. Under that, different sections will be there here. System.web, system.code down. What is system.web? This is your website settings. This corresponds to what? Your website settings. I tell you how to do your website settings one by one. We'll do it, guys. Refers to the website settings. And this one is your compiler settings. These are your compiler settings. Like this, the code is organized here in different sections. In different sections, basically. We have a section called as app settings. We have a section called as app settings. What is the app settings? App settings means this basically refers to the application settings, like what just now I explained you, company name, address, phone numbers, those type of things, we put them here. Are you clear? We put them here. Okay, something like this. Watch it. Add is equals to company name. Value is equals to, write the name of the company, Naresh I Technologies. Okay, add is equals to address. Value is equals to opposite. Triple A Mall, Amirpet. Hyderabad 16. Next, add key is equals to phone. Put 3746666. Add key is equals to, suppose they have WhatsApp also. They have a WhatsApp. Value is equals to something. Okay, add key is equals to email, contact email now. Value is equals to info@nareshit.com. Add key is equals to website. Value is equals to www.nareshit.com. Like this, guys, these are the general items we put under this app settings basically. Okay, we are going to put all the information in the app settings. Now, what did I say? You have 100 pages now. In all the 100 pages, you put a label. On the label, you are just going to show the company names and all now. Don't do that. What you do, read from here and show there. Did you get my point or not? In all the 100 pages, read from here and show. Tomorrow, if you want to make a modification, you don't require to modify all the pages now. You will modify only in one page. Where is it? Open the config and change the name here. Your address change that, come here. Modify the address here. That will reflect on the site. Are you clear? And these are not logical changes. So because these are not logical changes, you don't require a developer to make this change at all. I can try my client. Now. You don't require to contact me. This is the file you have, text file, open the file, find out where company name is, go and change your name, save, close and run the site, it will run off now. You don't require to come back to the developer again and again. Are you following me or not? That is the advantage of the configuration file. Benefits. 1. Multiple places modifications are not required. How many places? 1. Second, developer involvement is not required. When developer comes into picture, logical changes. You want to change the logic now, you want to change the design, developer comes now. But just to change the company name or address or phone number, no need a developer. What can do? Client only can make the change. Only thing is trying the client. What to do, where to do. That's it. Text file only, easily understandable to anyone. Clear? We have different sections here. Same way, when we are working with the databases, we require to specify the connection details of the server. All of you, when you just open SQL server, here you write the server name, user ID, password, all the things will enter. Same way tomorrow, my application connects to the database. I need to specify all the details now. For that, there is a section called as connection strings. Here we will be writing the database connection strings basically. Like different sections of data will be present. Tomorrow you want to connect to your remote computer. We'll have a section like a network section, and there you can write your network settings. Here you can put your network settings. Your application should dynamically send an email to someone. Your application should send dynamically an email to someone. An order placed in the site now, an email should be sent now. So I need to give the email details now. What is the server name, user ID, password? For that you will be having email section, network section, net section will be there. Email system.net something will be there. You will be putting all the email information under that. So like this, they maintain the separate sections. So without a developer coming into picture, the chance is for the client only to make all the modifications. That is why we put it in text format so that easily understandable. All of you do this. What you know? On the top of this, you have a link. Okay, visit the link. This is a Microsoft link only. Visit the link to get the more information on how to configure your ASP.NET application. It's a task for all of you. Just go there and try to find out. I given you one more task last week here. I asked you to go to status codes. Yeah, what are the different status code series? First one, 1XX represents what? Louder. Information message, 2XX. Did not read the answer the question. Did not go through. What are you doing here? I said you some task and you don't do that and come to the class. Should I teach each and every point? You won't do anything? Only few people, maximum 10 people are talking. When people say something like, what are you doing here? Without doing anything, everything is just you don't do any work. You want to get up a job, but you don't do any hard work. Everyone wants 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 salaries without doing anything at all. You just work first. Then only you can just understand the subject now. I very clearly given you a task for you. Go through them and just identify what is what. I'll ask you tomorrow again. If you cannot answer, get out of the classroom. Are you clear? And this is the second task for you. What is that? Click on the link, go there and visit the site and see what exactly is said. So going forward, I will use this web.config file in different places. Remember, we'll use it. I said you every application has 3 files, mandatory files. What are 3 mandatory files? First class I said you. One is web.config. Second one, global.aspx. Third one, and today I explained about web.config. When the time comes, I'll tell you about the global.aspx also, packages.config also. We'll talk about them. Okay. Yeah, it's about the web.config file. I given you information like what different sections you have, system.web, code, DOM, net, app settings, connections, things. The other different sections you'll be finding under them. Okay, whatever each corresponds, read them. I will show you. We'll use that going forward about each and every of this particular section. Go through the HTTP status codes. Find out and do the R&D on the HTTP status code. What HTTP status code is and what are the different series of HTTP status codes. I given a hint also. There are 5 series of status code. 1XX, 4XX, 3XX, 4XX, and 5XX. What each represents, find out. Don't go inside and find each and everything. I did not ask you that much. Understand what is 1XX, what is 2XX, what is 3XX, what is 4, what is 5. Under 1XX, again, you have 20, 30 will be there. I'm not asking you to go to that level. First, find out what is what. Understood? Okay, fine. Yeah, the next thing in our discussion is validation controls. We completed calendar control now. Validation. Actually, validation control require a config file here. That is why I explained about configuration file first. Why I introduced that in the middle is because in validation control, I need the config file now. Okay, that is why I explained about the config files first. Okay, validation controls. What is it? All of you, in your HTML classes, you learn JavaScript, right? What is the need of JavaScript? For client-side validation. For client-side validation. If you're good in JavaScript, you can write strong validations now. And we have this feature also. What is that? If validations failed, we can restrict the page not to be submitted to the server. Are you clear? Okay. You are very good in validations. You have written good validations code, and you have written all the rules like restricting the page not to be submitted to the server if the validations fail. You have done all these things. Imagine you have done all these things. Bring the code to me. I'll break your code and submit the page to the server. Did you understand me or not? At your own time, write whatever validations you want, how much logic, how much time you spend on it. Bring the system. I will break all your validations and submit the page to server without the validations being successful. I can do that. Everyone can do that here. How's there? Browser has a setting. What is the setting? Disable JavaScript. If I disable JavaScript, all your code is thrown into dustbin. Waste of time. Did you understand me or not? If I disable the JavaScript, your validations are not going to be considered. Simple, all the validations fail and the page is submitted after server. You can see. Go to your browser settings. Your browser settings, go to your browser settings, and in the browser settings, you'll be finding an option on the left-hand side. You can send site permission. Allowed, recommended, that is the recommended option. Just simply switch off the toggle button. JavaScript is disabled. None of your validations will work now. Are you clear? To overcome this problem, what is the second headache on your shoulders? You are required to write code again for server-side validation of the code also. Not only client-side validation. For some reason, client validations fail now. Now, server validation should come into active and check it out and send back to the browser telling validations fail. Clear or not? Means you're required to spend time on JavaScript and you're required to spend time on C# also. JavaScript also you're going to write the code. C# also you're required to write the code. Did you understand the pain now? To resolve this problem, ASP.NET Web Forms introduced as validation controls. What are these validation control? Validation control is a beautiful concept what ASP.NET provided here. Okay. What is that? These are controls which do client-side validations for us. These are controls which do client-side validation for us without writing the logic. You don't require to write the logic. You want the text box to be a mandatory field now. No need to write the logic here. There is a control called as required field validator. Put the control, associate with your text box, let it take care. So I don't require to write the logic. No need. And that only is not there. What if the validations fail, page will not be submitted to server. For that also, you don't require to write the logic. Just place the control and bind it with the text box over. Remaining all you take care now. Your job is simple now. Okay. Sir, if I disable JavaScript, will this control work? No. If you disable this also will not work because that will render you JavaScript now. Just controls will render you JavaScript. So now also problem only now, sir? No. Why these controls are designed in such a way, they will do server-side validation also for you without writing the logic. They will do server-side validation also. First, they will do client-side validation here. Validation failed, page is not submitted now. Validation failed, page is not submitted. Okay, but what did the client do? Client disabled the JavaScript and submitted all the page to server now. And tells you, don't worry, I'll take care of this also in the server. And on the server, it will revalidate all the things and returns you a Boolean status in the code now. So before you are going to continue the process, means before you go to the next step, check the status. If the status is true, what is the meaning? Validations are successful. If the validation is false, what is the meaning? Not successful. Simple here, you designed a registration form. Username should follow some standards. Password should follow some standards. Date of birth should be following some standards. You cannot select the date of birth of tomorrow, or you cannot select the date of birth of yesterday also. Minimum 18 years of age should be present for a person to register here. So some restrictions for it. Phone number. I want to enter the mobile number there. The mobile number should follow a pattern. You cannot enter some junk there. A lot of rules, email ID, everything. You do all the validations now. You do all the validations. And you have used the validation controls to do the validation now. It will first take care of all the things on the client side. Anything is wrong, it will stop without submitting the parts to server. But what did the client do? Client simply opened the sequence now, disabled the JavaScript and clicked off on the button now. Now, even the validation failed also, all the data went off to server. The validation control will do all the revalidations there and gives you a Boolean status. So before you save the code, check the status now. If the status returns you true, what is the meaning? Success. Now, save it to database. No. Send back to the browser telling all your validations got failed. All your validations got failed now. Did you understand the both of the controls now? This is not the reason why ASP.NET Web Forms is a big success here. All this customization, simplified things now, without writing complicated codes, they made the things very simple and easy. They made the things very, very simple and easy. This is one big reason why ASP.NET Web Forms is a big success when it introduced in 2002. Until then, so many technologies are there. This much of user friendliness is not given in any technology. So that much user friendliness was added. Drag and drops. Easy designing the screens now without spending a lot of time. Okay? And visibility ID. Visibility ID always no need to save refresh, no need. Just go to design and see how it looks. Validation controls. Ajax controls. All this made developers easy to develop the web application. In spite of this, there are drawbacks also. There are some drawbacks also. We'll talk about them also going forward. Okay. So that's what the advantage with the validation controls. Are you clear? First thing, remember, validations are two types. Client-side validations, server-side validation. What are client-side validations? The basic validations, what do you require are client-side validation? Like what? Username should be minimum 5 characters. Are you getting me? Username should be minimum 5 characters. That is a validation. There is a login page, man. Username, password should be entered. There is a rule. Username should be minimum 5 characters now. You entered a wrong user ID now, 4 characters user ID. When you click on the submit value, you are not accepted. Minimum user ID should be 5 characters of length now. You enter a correct thing. Password should follow some format. No spaces allowed. Yes or not? No spaces allowed. Okay, some special characters should be there. Uppercase, lowercase combination should be there. Minimum size should be there. All these rules, all these things will be validated. These are called client-side validation. What is server-side validation? Server-side validation in a sense, you entered the details correctly, means you passed all the client-side validation. Passing client-side validation doesn't mean that your already password is correct. Right or wrong? You pass the client-side validation. Pass the client-side validation means you already password correct. That can be wrong also. Now when you go to server, on the server, now I need to do a database check now. What is that? This user ID password combination is available in the database or not. That is called as server-side validation. Basic simple client-side validations. Basic simple validations are called client-side. Complex validations that require some databases and all are called as server-side validations. Are you clearer? Okay, how do we do client-side validation? JavaScript, using JavaScript. But the bloody hell with client-side validation is if the browser disables JavaScript, we need to do these validations also on the server side. Client-side validation should be done 2 times now. One is on the client side, one is on the server side. Validation is be done on the server side only. Ignore that. But client side validation should be done 2 times. Client side, server side. Client side, JavaScript. Server side, based on your technology. We are working with C#. We'll write with C#. Java developer should write with Java. PHP developer should write with PHP script. Python developer should write in Python. Based on that. Are you clear? There is no change to server side validations now. Server side validation now also same process. What happened is, without writing client side validation 2 times for us, Microsoft given you validation controls telling you this control will first do a client side validation for you, as well as the same client side validation will be performed on the server side also. It's a 2-time validation what is doing you. But coming to server side validation did not change. That is same in all the times. Earlier also same, now also same. What changed is only client side validations change. That's it. Clear or not? So what is that? Without you writing the JavaScript code, you can take the help of validation controls. So guys, look, client side and server side validation. And client side means all the basic things. Server side means database checks and all the things will be the server side validation. Now see, validation controls in ASP.NET. Okay, all of you read this paragraph, please. To simplify validations in ASP.NET, we are provided validation controls. And these controls will perform data validations on the client side as well as on the server side. That is, first they will perform client side validation by using JavaScript. It will stop the page being submitted to server, man. If the validations fail, it will stop the page submitting to the server. And in case of the client disables JavaScript in browser, the page will be submitted to server even when the validations fail. And in such scenarios, validation controls will revalidate data on the server side again. So at any cost, server side validations will work, whether client side validation is executed or not. So we have the safety of validation check now. You cannot stop the server side validation, man. That is not in your control. What is in your control? Client side validation is in your control. Can you disable server code? You don't have a right to do that. Okay? What you have control is only on the browser, not on the server. So you have a double safety. It is a double safety what it provides to you. Okay? Read it. That provide a easy to use and powerful way to check for errors and if necessary display messages to the user. The following is the list of the validation controls we have in ASP.NET. First one. You know about that control now, mandatory check, required field validator. Second one, what is that? Confirm password and password. Compare validation. Age is a range now between 18 to 60. That's a range. These are special validations here. These are a special kind of validation using which we do password validations, email validation, phone number validations, and all with just one line code. Any validation, one line code. That's it. That's the beauty of it. I'll explain you in detail about it. Next one. If existing validators are not as per your requirement, you can choose custom. You can write your own code. That option is also given. Some ready-made. And some it is telling you, you write on your own. Now. Last one. That doesn't do any validation, man. That is to display the error messages to user. That is to display the error messages to the user. When validation fails, now I want to show message to the user now. For that, we use the validation summary. These are the 6 controls what we have. You can see in the toolbox, guys. All 6. Have you anytime noticed it here when you are pointing to source and design only? Toolbox will show you the controls. Have you noticed it? Someone also asked this question. You're pointing to code view or pointing to somewhere and open the toolbox. Sir, my controls are not coming. Why will it show you here? Where are you? You can drag and drop here. Here you can drag and drop. Design in source only. So the toolbox will be visible only when you are in the source or the design. Where in the code view, now say it is an XML file. Can I drag and drop an Xbox here? That's it. Doesn't show you here. Are you clear? So be careful. If you're not seeing the controls in the list list, you're not pointing to the design or source. That is the meaning of it. Okay? Fine, guys. Yeah. Next. Array, every control is a class. Already we talked about it. So validation controls are also classes. And what is the parent class? Base validator. The parent is base validator. Under that we have all the 6 classes now. Okay. Hence the inherits its properties, events, and maths. What do you define in the parent class? Tell me first. Array in object-oriented programming, what parent class contains? Why you're reading that here? Why you're reading that? What I asked you, why you're reading that? I asked about object-oriented programming. Brainless fellows, common attributes here. How many times I should tell you this one? What do you define in parent? Then what I asked you, tomorrow if entry or come, you ask you, read your notes now. Use your common sense, man. I also explained you in inheritance classes. One day, number of examples I shown you. One day, person, student, teacher, figure class. But number of times I said you about it. What does a parent class contain? Common things. Whatever is common will be present for in the parent class. Now, when you talk about controls, every control has 3 things here. What are they? Properties, methods, events. Correct now? The common properties, the common methods, the common events are defined in the base validator class. Now read the continuation. Understood. First, let us start from the base validator. Look into the members of that class. Why? Because these are common for all 6 now. If I learn once, I can use with all the 6 now. Is it clearer? I'll show you. I will show you. I will practically show you all these things to you. Watch it, all of you. Let me add a web form. Let me add a web form. Validations 1.aspx. Simple, guys. I'm just putting like enter name and a text box. ASP colon text box ID is equals to txt name. Run it equal to server. And beside this ASP colon button ID is equals to btn submit. Run it equal to server, text is equals to submit. Simple code, man. Nothing there. One text box, one button. That's it. Okay, now, when the user clicks on the submit button, the page will submit to server. I want a validation now. What is the validation? The text box cannot be left empty. If the text box is empty, don't submit the page to server now. Got it or not? If this is the case, you're required to use required field validator. What is that? Come on, let me add it. All of you, observe. ASP colon. All controls are used in the same way here. Just like how you place the button, now you're placing a required field validator now. ID is equals to RFV, required field validator, shortcut I'm using. Name. Are you clear? Run it is equals to server. You guys are clear till now? Array, we used only same three attributes, that's all. Okay, now? Now, let me tell you the attributes what I am just talking about here now. Look here, these are the common things for all now. First attribute. Now tell me, this control should validate which control? Text box, na? That is what I should specify here. Control to validate is equals to. Did you understand how I'm binding both now? The required field validator is bound with the name text box. Sir, can I bind another text box also like this? No. One validation control can validate one control only. Are you clear? 10 text boxes are there. I want validation for all the 10. You are required to place 10 required field validators. One validation control can be bound only with one input control. Understand the terminology correctly. Input control. Input control means text box, drop down list, checkbox. All these are input controls now. And these are validation controls. Now see, one validation control can be bound only with one input control. Is the terminology clear? Okay, fine. Next. Display. What is this display? I'll tell you. I'll just show you practically. But tell me guys, when the validation fail, you want to show an error message? Yes or not? Error message is equals to, I can use an error message here and I can specify some error message to this. What is it? Name field cannot be left empty. Name field cannot be left empty. So many attributes are there here. I'll show you one by one. 1 and 2 are clear? Okay. Save it. Run it. Look at the screen once. Sir, why there is a lot of space between text box and buttons? Because there is a required field validator control between them now. But not visible now. Yeah, it won't be visible. If the validation failed only, that will be visible. Otherwise, it won't be visible now. Then why are you leaving that space like this? It's looking bad. Yes or not? Display dynamic. Default is static. Default is static. Now I'm changing this as dynamic. So see what happens. If the validation failed, automatically button moves now and a message comes here. Understood or not? Don't leave the spaces. Unnecessarily leaving the space looks awkward now. It's not looking good. So let the message come, the message will come there. 3 options are there here. What are 3 options? So static, default. Second option, dynamic. Third, none. What is none? None means validations are performed, but error messages are not shown. Did you get me or not? Validations are performed, but error messages are not shown. Are you clear? Dynamic means if the message is there, occupy the space. Otherwise, don't occupy. Static means message present or don't present, space is occupied. That is called display. So did you understand about the display now? It's a enumerator property, remember. 3 values to choose. Static, dynamic, none. Clearer or not? Okay, well. Now, sir, is it going to do the validation for me now? It has to do now. When you click on the submit, got an error here. Got an error. What is the error? Web forms, unobtrusive validation mode requires a script resource mapping for jQuery. Please add a script resource mapping named jQuery case sensitive. What is this, sir? Actually, when you talk about the validation controls actually in the first version of the validation controls here, they used to render JavaScript. They used to render the JavaScript. From ASP.NET 4.5, they changed it to jQuery. They changed it to jQuery. What is jQuery? jQuery is a JavaScript library. JavaScript means raw. jQuery is a JavaScript library which makes the coding simple. Are you clear? How do you refer to your text box in your JavaScript code? Tell me the complete property name. Get element by ID. How do you refer to it? Document dot get element by ID. That is how you refer to JavaScript. jQuery has given a simple option to you. What you know? Dollar hash txt name. That's it. But if you write the same thing in your JavaScript, how do you write, document dot get element by ID. Do you remember? That is camel case. JavaScript is camel case. Get is in lowercase c. Get element by ID of dot text. I want to refer. This is how I refer in jQuery. Check it out. Which one is simple? That's a JavaScript library basically. To simplify the JavaScript coding, they introduced it. So, first version of ASP.NET renders JavaScript code. From 4.5 onwards, they added jQuery also. And given an option for us to choose. What option? You can choose JavaScript also, and we can choose jQuery also. We can use JavaScript also, we can use jQuery also, but defaulted to jQuery. No, it's not working. Why is it not working? Because jQuery is not installed on my machine now. jQuery is not installed in my project. I need to install jQuery now. I need to install the jQuery. I need to do some mappings and all the things. Okay, and that is not our subject here because this is explained for you in your MVC basically. How to work with the jQuery and all is a part of your MVC. Is it clear? So I don't want to use a jQuery. I want to go with the standard JavaScript. Are you getting me or not? I want to go with the standard JavaScript without using jQuery. Is it clear? For that, we require to do a setting. Unobtrusive validation mode. Showing you there. What is that? Unobtrusive validation mode is a setting what I require to do. If I do that setting only, it works. Otherwise, it doesn't work. How to do this setting, sir? You can do the setting in 3 places. In 3 different places, you can do a setting. First option, in your web form directly. Go to code view. This means current class dot unobtrusive validation mode is equals to unobtrusive validation mode dot none. If I do this setting, now it works. See. Check it out. Page is not submitting. Check it out, all of you. Let me enter my name now. You know what is unobtrusive? That is only obtrusive is. What is it? Check. I delete my things. I did not click on the button. I got the message automatically now. Yes or not? Come back. I will fill the data. Get over the text box. The message is deleted. That is called unobtrusive mode. It's only added in 4.5 actually. 2 things what we do. One is use Two reasons for setting the property. One is don't use JavaScript, don't use jQuery and enables this feature. Enables this feature for us. Otherwise, in HTML, JavaScript, all of you, your validation should work only when you click on the button. But now I did not click on the button, but still my validation is working. That's called as unoppressive mode. Okay, that is called as unoppressive mode. See, now I enter the name now. Page is submitted. See, are you clear or not? When I delete it and try to come out of the text box, check. I did not click on the button at all. Is it clear? Okay, fine. So now you understood about this or not? So where to set the property? Page load. But problem is you're required to do in every page. You're required to do this in every page there. Every page, yeah. Tomorrow you have 10 forms. 10 forms is validation control. 10 times you will write this code now. Okay now? Second option is application wide. This is page level. This is page level. Second option is application level. You can do the setting application level. What is the advantage? One time. If you do one time, it is enough now. How do you use your application level? If you want to do application level, you are required to go to global.asx file. You are required to go to global.asx file. Watch it, guys. It's a class. What is the class? It contains an event handler. See, every day you are working with an event handler called page load. What is the meaning? When the page is loaded, application start means the first time your application starts, this code will execute. You know one thing? Today, if I launch a website now, I'm hosting a new website now. Okay. My website got the request now. And will you stop your website? Answer the question. Website runs 24/7 always. Any reason they may shut down the website, some scenario, but otherwise they never shut down the website. Website runs 24/7 now. Are you clear? Means what is the lifespan of your website? No one can tell that, yeah, if I start today after 10 years, I can stop the website now. Are you clear? But this event handler will run only once in the life cycle of a website. That is, when the first request comes to the server. When the first request comes to the server, I'm hosting my site on a public server. I announced to the public that the site is live. And you opened your machine and you just typed the URL of the website now. And you sent the first request now. This event handler will execute. Are you clear? From onwards, million people sent me million requests. This will never run again. How many times it will run? One only. Understand the meaning, man? Application stack. So, do the setting here now. Do the setting here. So, page dot. Sorry, not page dot, I think. Validation. Oh, validation settings dot. I'm sorry. Validation settings dot. Property same. Unoppressive validation mode is equals to unoppressive validation mode dot none. If I do this, this is called as application level. No need to write it for multiple times. One time. And executes also one time only. When first the time the page is low, first time the site got the first request, the setting is done now and applies throughout the life cycle of the application. Are you clear? The problem is both are C# code only. Yes or not? If tomorrow, if I want to make a change now, problem is recompilation of the project will be required again now. Understood? And to do this change, compulsory developer is required. Why? A normal user don't know case instruments and all these particular things now. Let's say the better option to do is web.config. Don't do it here and there. Where you do? Web.config. If you do in web.config, morning only explained your advantage is web.config. Now modify. Client can modify this now. Okay, and that is also application level. Application level, two places you can do. One is global.asx. One is that concept. We are not done with global database exercise. I will explain you about this in detail going forward still. But today, given you an idea about application, start. You can do it here. Third option, open web.config and go to app settings section. Where app settings. Array morning we added all those things now. There only add one more thing now. Watch it, all of you. Array in global.asx, what did you write? Validation settings dot unpressed validation mode. Here, validation settings colon. Here is a dot and here is a colon. Both same only. Here is one. Okay, value none. But don't forget, both these are application level only. What do you prefer now? Page level or application level? First answer is page level or application level. Global.asx or web.config? Web.config. Are you clear? But global.asx also, you can do it. But better recommendation is always web.config. Do it in the web.config. That's a better way to do it. Okay. So that's what. Now you are seeing your validation controls will work. Already we saw that working, but we have done the setting one more time. Guys, I given it very clear to you in the notes already. How to do it in previous option 1, global.asx. Option 2, in your page, option 3, web.config. Are you clear? Anywhere you can set this particular setting. Okay, come back. Come on, let's focus on our properties again. First property clear. Second property clear. Fifth one clear. Tell me. I want to display the error message highlighted, man. Set a color. Color red. That is also a property only. Good color. Got it? What you understood now? Control to validate, display, error message, 4 color. Okay? Now, understand. What is enable client script? It's a Boolean property, man. Default value is true. Default value is true. If you make it false, it will do server-side validation only, will not do client-side validation. Did you understand or not? Right now, all of you can observe it is doing client-side validation. How do you say that, sir? Page is not submitting. Check it out. Right or not? But see, guys, if I say enable client script is equals to false, validation is performed now also. Okay, validation is performed now also. Just a minute. But the server-side validation. Did you notice all of you? Page is submitting to server and validation is working still. Okay, so given an option, you don't use it here, but option is there. Any reason you want to completely disable the client side and use only server side, use this property. What is the property? Enable client script is equals to false. Here, I have a validation control. I have a validation control for the time being. For some reason, it should not work now. Understood? I have a validation control here. For some reason, the next 3 days, this validation should not be done. Got my point or not? Say, I'm asking like to register, everyone should be having minimum 21 years. I taken a validation for this. But today I want to put a relaxation now. What is that? No need any age limit for registration for the next 3 days. I don't want this validation to work for next 3 days now. No need to delete all these things here. Not disabled, enabled, I think. Enabled. What is it? Enabled is equals to default is true. Are you clear? Enable is false. So save it. This is not working. Client side also not working, server side also not working now. After a few days back again after 3 days, I want to change it back. What do you do? Enable truth. Okay. See, previous one, enable client script. What is the default value? And I'm leaving true only, man. I'm leaving the default values correctly now. If I make false, only server side validation work. Enabled false, both will not work. Client side also will not work, server side also will not work. So did you understand all the time? Tell me, control to validate, display, enable client state, enable error message. Next property is text. That is also for giving error message only. That is also for giving error message. For giving error message, we have two options here. What are the two options? One property is error message, one property is text. I prefer error message so that it will be descriptive. Text means every controller is text na. So to highlight it, better use what? Error message. But even you can use a text also to work. Understood? Next. Set focus on error. It's a brilliant property, guys. It's a brilliant property. Okay, just a second, all of you. Watch. See now, I clicked on the submit. Validations are working or not? Give us the focus. Focus should be in the text box now. You are validating the text box, man. Validation failed. Array, put the focus back in the same text box only so that you enter the value now. The focus is not in the text box. See. Set focus on error is equals to true. All of you can observe. I'm reloading the page. Click on this button. Check yourself. Where is the focus? Focus is in the text box now. The focus is back into the text box asking you to enter the value. Means you'll understand here where the fail happened. The focus will be in the particular control now. So it will become easy for you to know where the problem is. Okay? Next one. I need to show that practical here. I cannot explain you now. I need to show that practical. I'll tell you. Next one. What is this valid? I already said you remember. Client side validations are disabled. Now server side validations are done now. Now on the server side, how do I recognize the validations are successful or not? That property will tell you. The is valid property will tell you validation success or failure. If you get true, now write the code for saving the data to database. If you get false, report to the client, validations failed. Is that clear, all of you? That is what is validation. And fourth color, I already explained you. Okay. I did not show you how to use. I explained it, but I did not show you how to use this is valid. Tomorrow, we'll put it up, line up all the things and see how to use the is valid property on the server side and check whether these validations are successful or not. And then only I'll also explain you about. And these term properties are common for all the controls. Are you clear or not? Now, when we learn about each control, every control will have specific members. Remember again now. These are common members what I explained you. Understood or not? Now, every control have specific member. For example, take a range validator here. Okay. You are required to set the minimum value, maximum value now. Minimum, maximum is only for range, not for required field there. So those type of properties will be under child classes. Today I explained you only common attributes. For every control, these are set common. Specifically, we'll see tomorrow. Let's stop here. We'll see tomorrow.